The Senate will come to order. Senator Marble.
Good morning, Senate and staff and all visitors. Can you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgartner,
Excused?
Brophy,
Excused?
Cadman, Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpin, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro,
Excused?
Rivera, Roberts, Scheffel, Schwartz,
Excused?
Stedman, Tocktrop, Todd, Uleberry, Zenzinger. Madam President.
Here. With 31 present, 0 absent, 4 excused, we have a quorum. And Senator Brophy, please add to the morning roll call. Motion to adopt the journal, Senator Zenzinger. Please add Senator Schwartz to the roll.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the reading of the Journal of February 5th be dispensed with and the journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Committee reports.
February 4, 2014, Committee on Transportation. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 75 be amended as follows. Now so amended for the Committee on Finance with favorable recommendation. February 4, 2014, Committee on Transportation. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1027 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 4, 2014, Committee on Local Government. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1020 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 5, 2014, Committee on Health and Human Services. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 95 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation, with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 5, 2014, Committee on Judiciary. After consideration on the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 127 be amended as follows, and as so amended referred to the Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation. February 5, 2014, Committee on Judiciary. After consideration on the Merits Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1050 be referred to favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. February 3, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology has had under consideration and has had a hearing on the following appointment, recommends the appointment be confirmed. Member of the Colorado Housing and Finance Authority Board of Directors for a term expiring July 1st, 2017, James M. Hahn of Englewood, Colorado, to serve as a person experienced in mortgage banking transactions, reappointed. February 5th, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology had under consideration and has had hearing on the following appointments and recommends the appointments be confirmed. Members of the Board of Assessment Appeals for a term expiring July 1st, 2014, Ann Louisa Maricel of Denver, Colorado, reappointed, and Greg A. Neer of Lakewood, Colorado, reappointed. February 5th, 2014, Committee on State and Veterans and Military Affairs. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1164 be amended as follows, and as so amended, refer to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. February 5th, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 113 be postponed indefinitely. February 5, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following Senate Bill 96 be referred to the Committee of the Whole, favorable recommendation, with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar. February 5, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following Senate Bill 68 be postponed indefinitely.
Please add Senator Baumgartner to the roll. Senate Services.
February 6, 2014, correctly printed Senate Joint Resolution 7, correctly engrossed Senate Bills 39 and 58.
Message from the House.
February 5, 2014, Madam President, the House has voted to concur in Senate amendments to House Joint Resolution 1004 and has repassed the resolution as so amended.
Committee reports.
February 5, 2014, Committee on Education, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends following House Bill 1078 be amended as follows and as so amended referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 141 by Senators Grantham and Lundberg and Representatives Zabel and Murray concerning the harmonization of voter registration systems for elections through a temporary delay in the implementation of the Voter Access and Modernized Elections Act.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
House Bill 1010 by Representative Hamner and Senator Rivera concerning corrections to statutory provisions relating to the prescribed burning program administered by the Division of Fire Prevention and Control in the Department of Public Safety.
Local government.
House Bill 1047 by Representative Becker and Senator Guzman concerning restrictions on the publishing of basic identification information on commercial websites.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1051 by Representatives Schaefer and Landgraf and Senators Kavalis and Crowder concerning a strategic plan for enrolling all eligible persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities into programs at the time services and supports are needed, and in connection therewith requiring the Department of Health Care Policy and Financing to develop and implement the strategic plan and to report annually to the number of persons waiting for services and supports.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1056 by Representative Holbert and Senator Toktrop concerning clarification of the statutes relating to the registration of collector's item motor vehicles to specify the certain special emission inspection requirements for collector's item motor vehicles registered prior to the enactment of House Bill 1071 continue to apply to those vehicles until they are transferred.
Transportation.
House Bill 1069 by Representative Rosenthal and Senator King concerning district commissions on judicial performance.
Judiciary.
House Bill 1079 by Representative Lee and Senator Zenzinger concerning an increase in the monetary amount allowed for the limited offering registration procedure under the Colorado Securities Act.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
House Bill 1083 by Representative Lee and Senator Crowder concerning the authority of a licensed acute treatment unit to receive emergency medications from certain other outlets.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 1111 by Representative Foote and Senator Jones concerning the authority for Municipal Volunteer Firefighter Department retiree to serve on a Municipal Volunteer Firefighter Pension Board.
Local government. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Majors, would you please read the titles to all the bills listed on the consent calendar?
Senate Bill 39 by Senator Balmer and Representatives McCain and Court concerning a grant of limited authority to emergency medical service providers to voluntarily provide pre-veterinary emergency care to certain domesticated animals. Senate Bill 58 by Senator Todd and Representative Murray concerning high school equivalency examinations in Colorado.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of all the bills on third reading of bills consent calendar, including Senate Bill 39 and Senate Bill 58.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills on third reading consent calendar? Seeing no discussion, the question before the body is the adoption of the bills listed on third reading consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 39 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Crowder, Senator Aguilar, Senator Jones, Senator Kerr, Senator Nicholson, Senator Kafalis, Senator Guzman, Senator Newell, Senator Stedman, Senator John, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Toktrop, Senator Stedman, I think I got you, Senator Todd, Senator Johnston, Senator Grantham, Senator Lundberg, Senator Herpin, Senator Marble. Any other co-sponsors on Mr. Majority Leader? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 58 is adopted. Co-sponsors on Senate Bill 58. Senator Nicholson, Senator Kerr, Senator Johnston, Senator Jones, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I'm going to move in a second here to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow. So we're going to be taking what's on the schedule tomorrow and take up those bills, the one on consent and the two on seconds tomorrow. So, Madam President, I move that the balance of calendar lay over until tomorrow.
You've heard the motion. Please add Senator Renfro to the roll. For the motion, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The balance of the calendar will lay over until tomorrow. Announcements. Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, members, you might know tonight's the start of the Olympics, and I brought my friend up here who snowboards. I ski, just to try to make it even. Stephen, nobody's around here. Well, we need a Nordic skier somewhere. Anyway, and there you go, see? And what's really interesting about this one this year, and tonight actually, is the women's moguls preliminary round. You may remember Hannah Kearney, who won a gold last Olympics, and the previous Olympics she had a really bad run, and it was kind of one of these stories of really fixing a problem that you've had in the past and overcoming adversity. But what's even more interesting to me is there's a skier named Heidi Closure from Vail, and interestingly enough, she's the daughter of a good friend of mine who I used to compete with and travel with, and was quite the adventure athlete, if you know what that is. This guy won all the time. And now here's his daughter at 21 competing. It was really interesting to me. A couple years ago, I was at Wahoo's Fish Tacos, and I saw somebody upside down in the bumps in a picture, and it said Heidi Closure below, and I went, oh my gosh, it's my friend's daughter. And so it's going to be really interesting. So we have a gold medal contender, and all the other women bump skiers are older, except for Heidi. She's like the new part of it. So tonight's women's moguls preliminaries, we're starting it off, and Senator Kerr.
Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Senator Jones, for suggesting that we have a little good-natured rivalry, I'm sure, between the skiers and the snowboarders. Do have a long list of snowboarders here, and various events that you might or might not know about, starting with the half pipe, but we have the parallel slalom, slope style, snowboard cross. So these are all exciting events, and again, everyone's talking about the Olympic opening ceremonies tomorrow night, but tonight is actually when you'll be able to start watching some of these. And of course, probably the most famous of all of the Winter Olympians, I would say, at least between the skiers and snowboarders, is the Flying Tomato. Shaun White will be competing in the men's half pipe. We do have a number of young people from Colorado that are competing in these events, so go Colorado and go USA.
Senator Jones.
Yeah, just to wrap up, others may want to jump in here, but we have 18 Coloradans in the Olympics, primarily, I think, from Steamboat, which is, they call themselves Olympic Town, USA, and it's true. If you've ever been in their lodge where it shows all the flags from the Olympians over on Hallison Hill, it's very impressive. But an unofficial count that was done last night on an NPR program had 21 Coloradans in the Olympics. That's out of like 130, I think, Olympians that are going. So it's a really good showing for us, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Madam President. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, and tomorrow, February 7th, is National Wear Red Day, and I hope you'll join me wearing red to show your support and help to further raise awareness of the prevalence of heart disease. Also tomorrow in House Committee Room 109, you can stop by and meet survivors and the volunteers of the American Heart Association, who who are working every day to educate women on the importance of their heart health. So wear red tomorrow, please. Thanks.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to finish up on the Olympics and just note that we have 6 athletes that will be coming from Senate District 5, both Eagle County and Pitkin County. Jeremy Abbott, who just won nationals in skating. Simi Hamilton, who also won a major race, as well as Noah Hoffman, Torin Wallace, and Michaela Schifrin, and Heidi Klosser. So those are some great athletes, skaters, and skiers that are going to be people to watch, because we can be pretty excited that we're going to send these Coloradans, and I'm proud of these young people, that many of which I've known since they were babies. So it's going to be exciting times.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and or President. My apologies. Memory goes back too many years. You know, you kind of forget short-term stuff after a while.
It hurts when you're getting old.
Yeah. In terms of honoring those Coloradoans who've really played a role in the Olympics, I would be remiss if I didn't come down and talk about a gentleman who did live in my district until he passed away a few years ago, but his name was Doug Waugh. And he actually designed the mechanism that standardized the construction of the half pipe. And before that, half pipes were just anything you could pull together, until he figured out how to pull some equipment together and make this a standard system. And really the industry of half pipe snowboarding owes a great deal to this gentleman, who was actually a neighbor of mine, living right down the street there in the Berthoud area. And we, you know, the Olympics may be halfway around the world, but without the influence of many people from Colorado, it wouldn't be what it is today. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Aguilar.
Thank you. And I also wanted to mention that in honor of Wear Red Day tomorrow, even if you're not wearing red, we'll be having some providers here on the floor who will be doing blood pressure checks. And so I hope you'll all get your blood pressure checked tomorrow. Thanks.
Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, colleagues. I've been asked to announce the Colorado Retail Council has their legislative reception at the University Club tonight from 5:30 to 7:30. Colorado Retail Council at the University Club. Thank you.
Are there other announcements? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues on committees, there is no Education Committee this afternoon. No Education Committee this afternoon. As a result, Health and Human Services is going to be moved to Committee Room 356. Also, I've been asked to announce that there's no JBC this afternoon either. With that, Madam President, I see no other announcements, so I move that the Senate adjourn to 9 a.m. Friday, February 7th.
So I might just add to the announcement with no education. I think that means that Senate Bill 1 will not be heard today and will be rescheduled.
Yes.
And we had a couple more committee reports come in since then. So before we act on your motion, let's go ahead and take up committee reports.
February 4, 2014, Madam President, the Committee on Finance had under consideration as that hearing on the following appointments recommends the appointment be confirmed member of the Public Employees Retirement Benefit Plans for a term expired July 10, 2017. Susan G. Murphy of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative with experience and competence in investment management, finance, banking, economics, accounting, pension administration, or actuarial analysis, and as a Democrat reappointed. February 5, 2014, Committee on Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Energy, after consideration of the Mayor's Committee, recommends the following Senate Bill 29 be amended as follows, not so amended, refer to the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation.
Mr. Majority Leader, you want to renew your motion?
I renew my motion to for the Senate to adjourn till 9 a.m. Friday, February 7th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate will adjourn till 9 a.m. tomorrow, Friday, February 7th.
take them.